So I hide myself now for mute.
Yes, Kathleen, if I press start, it's not working, the timer.
Is it not?
No.
Well, that's weird. Oh no.
So shall I just go to the next slide?
Yeah, you'll have to. I don't know why it worked the other day when we did it with Malcolm. How strange. Do you want me to go in remote quickly and see if I can, but then you'll have to unshare it and reshare it. I don't know if you want me to try quickly.
No, I think we'll just leave it as it is.
Okay. I'll have a search into why it's not doing that.
Maybe just put in the chat that we'll start in so many minutes.
Yeah, okay, will do.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to talk to you, so A4G and Focus Group are going to talk to you about how to manage your money a little bit smarter in the coming year, as I think it's going to be quite a vital subject. So let me tell you a little bit about who A4G are. We're based in Kent, but we get most of our clients by referral, so we actually work nationally and with many growing businesses, particularly like owner managed businesses are our kind of niche market. We provide advice, support and planning, which is slightly different to kind of other accountants. We're a bit more interactive, and we don't tend to deal with clients that just want an annual year service. You know, we are looking to be more involved and help businesses grow. We are kind of a medium-sized practice, but we have this two-man approach that just means that you've got dedicated people for your business that know you, know your business, and can help sort of put in place all the action planning we do as part of our annual advice. So I would ask you, we're going to have a number of presenters this morning, so I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of questions. So if you could pop all any questions as we go in the question and answers button at the bottom of the screen, and we'll answer them at the end. So there'll be a good amount of time at the end to get to your queries. So these are our speakers today. So I'm joined by Emma, Ben and Fred from Focus Group. They're going to help you all save a little bit more money from your business. And I'm just going to run through some of the cloud accounting and ways to sort of do finance a little bit smarter. So I'm going to hand over now to Emma. And Emma, are you there?
I am. Thanks.
Hello.
Okay, so let me just now grab this screen for you. Sorry, guys. And there we go. Apologies for that. It would seem to be looping on that video, but there we go. Okay, so here we go. Good morning again. Thank you for joining us this morning. The aim of the webinar from Focus today is to actually show you some of the areas that we've been managing to save businesses money through the pandemic. The key point to take from this is everything that we're going to show you this morning, you don't need to change anything. So it is purely just billing and being able to have the same services at a reduced price. I'd obviously like to thank Amanda and A4G for inviting us along to speak this morning. Just to reiterate, if there are any questions that you do have, please pop them in the chat box and we'll make sure that we come to them at the end. Again, my name's Emma. I'm joined this morning by Fred and Ben, and they'll introduce themselves a little bit later on. Okay, so who are we? Who are Focus? As a business, we were established in 2004, and we've grown organically into the group of companies that we are today. By the end of 2020, our turnover finished at approximately 84 million, and we currently employ about 450 staff nationwide. A key point to take from this as well is through COVID, we actually managed to recruit about 70 members of staff. So just testament to obviously the good job that we've been doing. We do supply a range of solutions to about 18,000 businesses. Again, that's an ever-growing and ever-populating number. Our portfolio includes voice, data, mobile, IT, cybersecurity and energy. And we do work with global brands, some of which you will recognise, BT, Vodafone, O2 being ones in there, I would expect. As a business, we are multiple award winning. So we've won several awards over the last few years. And again, we hold our 5-star Trustpilot rating, and we're quite proud of that fact as well. So I did want to include this just to kind of show you a bit about some of the visions and values that the business has. What I'd really like to kind of put your attention to is the core values in the business. So that is respect, teamwork, ambition and integrity. Now, we've actually looked after A4G for a number of years now, and I think that they'll be testament to in all areas of business, this is what our team members do show. Okay, so now I'd like to hand over to Ben, who will take us through a little bit more about the energy proposition and how that will benefit you.
Thank you, Emma. So as Emma mentioned, we have an energy division here at Focus, and we don't just look at business gas and electricity. We've also got water available on our books, which is something not a lot of people know that they can change. Energy industry is not the most exciting industry in the world. However, it is vital to every single business out there. Without electricity, no one's business could run. You need it. It is vital, and it is sometimes a large cost for you. What I want to do is help you guys reduce your overall costs down. So how do we do that? We look at the entire energy market. We have access to over 20 different suppliers. We can go out to all of them and find the best rates available for you. One of the things with energy that lots of people don't like is the fact it's not very exciting. You don't get something nice and shiny. You turn the light switch on, it's exactly the same. You just get a bill from a different company. Every year, I'm sure all of you look at your car insurance and make sure that you're getting the best price on that. I wish it was the same in energy, but it's not. Unfortunately, people let their contracts roll over, they go on out of contract rates and you pay more than you need to. What I want to do is offer you a service which will reduce down your costs in this challenging time. We only work with selected suppliers. There are lots and lots of energy companies out there. However, we will only work with the ones that we know offer good customer service. As part of that, we offer a full account management service as well. So if you ever have any issues, you can come directly to us and you don't have to worry about going to the energy partner. So what do? We offer gas, electric and water quotes. All we need you to do is send us a copy of your bill or give us the relevant information we require. We can then go out to market and find a quote that's going to work best for your business. We can do site works and new connections. This means that if you are taking over a new supply and you need a new meter installed, we can do that for you. As mentioned, business water. Lots of people just sit with their current water provider, unaware that you can change your water supplier and make a good saving. Smart meter upgrades. Smart meters are going to be a part of the future. It's one of those things. What it will do is mean that you don't get estimated bills, and we work with suppliers who will actively look to install smart meters if you want them. We can look at optimization. This means that we can look at your current supply, look at how you're spending your money and give you ideas on how to make that better for you. We offer flexible and fixed purchasing. This means that we can sign you up to an energy, gas or electric contract up to 12 months in advance. If the energy prices change during that time, you can be aware and be sure that the price is guaranteed to be that what you agree today at the end of your current contract. This means that we can go out to market, check rates, find out the best ones for you and advise you in advance when you should look at changing your supply. We also offer group energy tenders and multi-site services. For some of you, you might have electricity bills that are up in 6 months, a gas bill that's up in 9, another electricity bill that's up in just over a year. We can look at those, give them all a common end date and put them all with one supplier for you. This should ideally make your life easier. Next up, we're going to have a look at some of the possible savings that can be made.
Apologies, it's not going down. There we go. Thank you.
All right. So this screen gives some of the savings that are real savings that our customers have made with us in the last year. I know they're a bit high and they do look very, very good. This isn't possible for everyone. I'd love to say it is. However, what we do when we look at these customers' bills, we went out to the market, we got some bespoke quotes back for them, and this is the savings that were genuinely available. We are completely unbiased when we offer our services. This means that we don't have set agreements with certain suppliers where we have to put so many meters with them a month. If one supplier has a better rate for you, we will offer it to you. As mentioned earlier, we only work with suppliers who we know will offer good customer service. Peace of mind. We don't want you worrying about your energy bills. We want to make sure that everything is working, everything is fine for you and makes your life as easy as possible. That's why we ask you to look at us and let us help you with your supplies. You have a dedicated account manager. At Focus Energy, we will work with you. We will give you email addresses, direct lines, so that you can come straight through to us. This means that there's no hanging on the phone for an hour at a time when you try to call British Gas, for example. And we will make sure that what we offer fits your business. We don't want you to be worried about what we're going to do and how we're going to work with you. Any requirements that your business has, we will make sure that we match them and we do everything that is right for you. So please, once again, just send us a copy of your bill and let us offer you an unbiased quote. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. My name is Fred Barton and I am a Business Development Manager at Focus. and I've been here for around about 15 years. Today's webinar, I will be focusing purely on savings on lines, calls and internet service, but I just wanted to touch base on a couple of products that I believe are very important that we offer in the voice department. Since March of last year, due mainly because of COVID outbreak, we have seen a large shift towards home working. Employers need to be able to work from home just as productive and efficiently as if they was in the office. They need their same telephone number, they need to be able to transfer calls to colleagues, and they need to be part of a hunt group. Most old traditional on-premise telephone systems will not allow this, and many of our clients have turned into a hosted cloud-based system or an internet system. I'm also not sure if you're aware, but British Telecom are moving all customers from the old analog public switching telephone network, known to you and I as PSTN, to a fully digital network, and they have already started this. At Focus, we plan to have moved everyone over before BT stop the PSTN and the ICN service in 2025. By then, every phone line in the UK will be digital, routing all calls over the internet, rather than the traditional PSTN lines they do now. And yes, we mean everyone, businesses and homes. It's not just your phone service you need to think about, it's everything else that currently use the old phone network, such as alarms, PDQs, EPOS tills, and door entry systems. Focus have already moved around 20% of our base over to IP. Now on to the calls and savings for you. Now more than ever, it is a good time to review what you are paying. Ask yourself, when was the last time you reviewed your telephony costs? Most of the time, the invoice goes into accounts. It looks about the same as last month and it just gets paid. This is not really the best way to control costs, but let's face it, we all do it. Don't tell Ben, but I've been with British Gas for 18 years. Well, why choose Focus? There's lots of other companies out there, and I can hence some of you thinking, why Focus? Well, at Focus, we like to think we are proactive. We proactively look after our clients, not just at the point of sale, but for the entire time they are with us. Every customer that joins Focus is assigned a dedicated account manager who has full access to your bill. If you have a query or you need any services added or removed, you just contact your account manager and they will deal with it for you. We also appreciate that in business, things change, especially over the last year or two. Many of our customers have been with us for many years, some in fact from the start. This is because, unlike other companies, your fixed costs stay the same for the entire length of the contract. We do not increase your line rental. BT, as an example, have just increased theirs, and again, they're increasing it in April of this year. We want your cost to be kept low. We bespoke each destination you call to ensure that every call you make is on a good rate. We also appreciate that, during the contract, you may have won a contract in, say, Dubai, and at the start of that contract, we wouldn't have bespoke Dubai's telephone number. All you need to do is call us. We will then obtain a rate from the carriers for Dubai, and we will apply it to your account. That way, you will always be on good rates. And there's also many ways to bill for calls. So what you think may be a good rate may not be what you are actually paying. As an example, some companies bill per minute. So if a call costs 10p a minute and you was on the phone for 61 seconds, you would actually pay 20p. Focus bill per second. So you only pay for the amount of time you are on the phone. Once you're with us, rest assured you're in good hands. We have support staff to handle any question or function you require, from ordering a new line, porting your numbers from the old PSTN to a hosted phone system or SIP. We port a fault, and we ensure that you will never lose your telephone number. We have access to OpenReach Diary, and we can book an engineer for you. You just make one call to our UK call centre and leave the rest to us. Transferring your service is very simple. Every service you have comes across on a like-for-like basis, and there is no downtime whatsoever. Along with our in-house billing platform that allows us to bespoke rates, set up call centres and cost centres if you have multiple sites, as an example, And we can also add other services onto that, such as Office 365, to give you a one bill solution. All we require is a copy of your recent telephone bill. Send it over to me, and then I will produce a cost analysis report for you, or get one of my staff to do it. And then we will show you the savings they are. And I've got a couple of examples on the next slide, Emma, if you may.
No problem.
Well, here is just this is a school that we've dealt with. You can see we haven't taken the internet service over there. It's just because on certain schools they have to use the government for their internet. But this is just a little school with 6 lines, and you can see the savings for the year for that was £482, nearly 500. And the second slide is a little bit more savings. Sorry. Yeah, this is a multi-site charity that we look after. They've got shops all over the country. They're very well known, and we save them on their lines, their broadband, their calls. And again, the savings for them as a charity was fantastic, nearly £40,000 a year. If there are any questions, please can you ask at the end, and my details will be at the end of the slide. And may I thank you for joining today's webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Fred. And here is the video that was causing a bit of issues at the beginning. So hopefully this is going to play through okay. And we'll be able to show you a bit about Microsoft Office 365. So if you are not already using this, it is something that you probably will migrate to over the next sort of 18 months or so. Essentially, it's Microsoft's subscribed suite of products that includes things like email, databases, and other things in there as well. We can quite simply take over the billing of those 365 licenses and make you a significant saving. And this short video will demonstrate how easy that actually is. Okay, so just to reiterate, Office 365, what is it? As I said, it is Microsoft's suite of products which you subscribe and pay to on a monthly basis. Features that you'll recognise include your email, spreadsheets, documents, storage and databases. Bills are generally paid via a credit or a debit card on a monthly basis. And there's so many different license types, it can actually be quite overwhelming. I think Microsoft have somewhere in the region of about 780 license types in their suite. Okay, so why would you actually transfer that over to us? As we mentioned earlier, we do have cheaper pricing. Typically, we're going to see about a 10% saving. And if you're paying direct to Microsoft, that'll be more like 20 to 25%. It is actually an instant transfer with 0 downtime. So you don't need to log out, you don't need to change anything, download anything. You simply, as the video stated, accept us as the billing partner and the licenses will transfer over. Typically, they're in a 30-day rolling type contract, so there's no back-end liabilities on that as well. Where this benefits you as well is we will give you 30-day credit terms. So again, as Fred mentioned, if you do maybe have your lines and minutes with us, this will go on to one bill for you. So it's nice and simple, same day every single month, your direct debit goes out and it's paid and you don't need to worry about it. As well, what we will give you is some free product consultancy. As I mentioned, Microsoft licensing can be a bit of a minefield if you're not a Microsoft expert. But what we'll do is have a look and say, are you using the best out of your licenses and can there be a better way for us to license what you need for you? And as with everything, we do have in-house support on this. So it's UK-based support and that's 24/7, 365. Okay, so what we would like to do is a bit of an incentive for you guys today, is if you can send a copy of your recent energy and telephone bills to the email address above, which is a4g@focusgroup.co.uk. We'll not only complete a health check for you free of charge, as a thank you, we'll actually enter you into a draw for a chance to win £50 worth of Amazon vouchers. If you can please quote the reference A4G21 and your business name in the subject field, it just helps us keep a monitor on what's actually in that inbox. All of our contact details are below, and as previous, I'd obviously like to thank you guys for joining us this morning, and apologies for the little loop with the video at the beginning. That did not happen when we practiced. So anyway, what I'd now like to do is hand back over to Emma, who's going to take you through the next part of the webinar.
Thank you so much, Emma. We're like an amazing double act here, aren't we, with two Emmas? So, guys, hopefully that was really interesting for you. I certainly, as an accountant, we always say take care of the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves, but it actually sounds like Focus are going to take care of the pounds. So hopefully that rolls on to then be, the hundreds of pounds take care of themselves. I'm going to talk to you quickly about a little bit about cash flow and cloud accounting, but I thought I'd start by just talking about the different types of costs and how they're recorded in an account system. Probably one of the predominant things that has come out of this lockdown is we've picked up quite a lot of new business where clients just aren't getting, our businesses aren't getting the right information from their accounting system, and it's mainly because they've been set up with an account system, and there's just like a generic set of kind of options for your expenses, and they haven't been clearly defined by the business type. So just to give you an example, so cost of sales, now these are the expenses that are really directly linked to your sales invoice. So if you take, for example, maybe a builder, that would be sand, bricks, everything that you'd buy on like a job by job basis, and directly tied to a sales invoice. So, that's quite important to get right. And really what should happen on your account system is your profit and loss should look a little bit like your costing would. So the cost of sales are the things that exactly how you'd go about doing your costing, isn't it, for that service? Now, your direct costs these are the things that tend to go up in stages. So I'm going to continue with kind of the builder theme here, but that might be like, sort of subcontractors or men on the job that are working, and their hours are spread between different types of jobs. And it might be that one person can do a certain level of work, but then obviously as your sales go up, those costs tend to jump up in stages. So that tends to be sort of staff that are directly involved in delivering the service or product you're invoicing, and the same as if there was equipment. So if you think for like a building firm, any of the diggers and things, so if you're hiring equipment, all of that would be a direct cost as well, because you might not hire it for one job, but you might hire it across 5. But then obviously if you were to take on another 5, you might need to hire another digger. So these are the things, and this is quite often a common problem that we see. People get told that they're making a really high gross profit, and they know that's not true, because they know when they through their costing that would never have been the case, and it's just where things aren't allocated properly. And the reason I think this is vitally important is it allows you to assess the work you're doing against your costing, because your costing might not be right, or things might have changed that affect your costing. So it just gives businesses a little sense check. And then obviously your overheads are things like your utilities, your office staff, maybe your office costs, and I really can't stress enough that actually to get this right from sort of the big start in your business and to monitor it properly will give you the information that you want. So it's not just an account system done for our purposes. It is actually, the idea of it is we try and give you the information to run your business a little bit better. So I thought I'd quickly run over kind of what's deductible and what isn't. Depending on how you're structured, If you've got a company car, obviously motor expenses, repairs, servicing, MOT, all of that is covered by the business. But actually, if most owner-managed businesses, the directors might own their cars, not commercial vehicles, but cars outside of the business, because the car tax, the benefit in kind car tax would be too high. Now, if that's the case, you have to charge mileage back to the business for your business miles. Subsistence is always one of those things that I think people don't necessarily understand what is meant by it in an accounting term, and they either don't claim it or probably claim things as subsistence that aren't quite subsistence. So subsistence is an allowable expense, and it's really designed to cover the costs of coffees, sandwiches, maybe small lunches when you're away from your usual place of business. So I'm sure we've all done it, and it's probably hard to remember because we're all at the point where we're not even sure shoes have a purpose. But when you're rushing about, when I have my days in London where I'm going between meetings and I'm grabbing a coffee and a banana or probably a Danish, that's what subsistence is for. It's kind of so that you can sustain yourself whilst you're out of your usual place of business. And that is slightly different to entertainment. So you've got staff entertainment, which up to £150, including the VAT, per staff member is allowable and is deductible from your business. So that should give you a tip for the Christmas party. But then you have entertainment. Now, so subsistence would be you have to stay in a hotel overnight. You maybe get yourself a dinner in the restaurant. It's quite a normal price dinner, and you might have a pint of beer or a glass of wine. That would be deemed as subsistence because you're staying away, it's just you. But obviously if you're going out for lunch with some of your customers or suppliers, that is entertainment. So you're not allowed to claim VAT on entertainment. You don't claim company tax relief on it, but it is still important to monitor it in your business. Now there's two reasons for that, really. One, it is still a cost of running your business, and it's important for you to know all the costs that go into running your business so you can manage that properly. But the other is if you're an owner manager, if you don't put it through, then the cost to you is significantly higher because you're having to take that money as dividends and pay dividend tax on it to entertain your customers. So it is important to get this stuff right. And I'm sure people just think, I'm a geeky accountant, but actually I'm trying to save clients money. So things that are commonly missed are things like mobile phones, because I think they're like an accessory to us, aren't they? Probably more of an accessory than jewelry nowadays. But, so quite often we've had our mobile phone contracts for ages. We treat them as our personal devices, but actually that can go through the business. Then obviously one of the things, use of home as office. I think most people haven't bothered claiming it before, but certainly this year, everyone should be entitled to that. Then if you are in an industry where actually it means you've got to do more laundry and cleaning, for example, like builders who are on site, there is an allowance for laundry and cleaning. And small equipment introduced when you set up the business, that's quite common, that is missed by people. It's almost like, well, I've started my business, I've started using my phone, my laptop, my iPad, my printer, whatever it is, and actually people forget to introduce that as an asset to the business, and you should, because you'll need to replace it at some point, and it's money that's owed back to you tax-free. So, all little wins. So the accounting software that we recommend the most to growing businesses is Xero. We absolutely love Xero. It's because it's so easily accessible. I'm sure if any of you on the call have got Xero, you love the fact that you can just log in from your phone, from anywhere, and just see like live what's in your bank account. But also it means for us, we've got better interaction with our clients. You can link in your bank feed automatically. So every day it will pull in the last day's bank transactions. So again, it just gives you a bit more sight on what's going on. Now, the whole sales invoice process is phenomenal. So if you're not doing invoicing from software like Xero, I really would recommend it. A lot of your competitors will be doing it, and they'll be doing it on the go as things are finished, rather than kind of the tradition of waiting until like a certain period in the month where, you know, maybe good old Doris types up your sales invoices. But actually, you know, I think payment is going to be delayed at the moment. You know, there will be businesses who will be, you know, tighter on cash. So actually getting those invoices out as soon as you've done bits of work is really important for everyone to be able to monitor their cash flow. So Xero, you can do online invoices, you can link it to your payment method, so it's all really clear. You can add like a pay it now button, you can link it to PayPal, anything like that, just to make it much easier for people to pay you. And then you can also automate some of your debtor chasing. So one of the main advantages with Xero is it's open source at the back end. Now, I won't profess to be an IT expert, but what it does mean is it means lots of other companies are able to develop apps that link into it. So it's basically the back end finance product for a lot of things. And there's a lot of front end industry specific softwares that help you manage your customers better. So it's not just an accounting system. And one of the things that links with Xero is Fluidly. Now, Fluidly is an automatic debt chasing and cash flow management tool. It's really brilliant. So you can set it up to automate the basic chasing. So you can say, right, actually 3 days before that invoice is due, please can you send my customer a copy of the invoice and a polite reminder that it's due for payment in 3 days. Just to make sure that they've had it, it's on their system and you can see that they've read it. Then, you know, if it goes so many days past the due date, you can send another copy of the invoice with a statement to say, you know, you've missed payment deadline, this was due for payment then, please find attached a copy of the invoice and make sure it's in your next pay run. So I'm not talking about, you know, having to automate aggressive credit control or anything like that, but just the polite reminders. And then it leaves you freer to make the calls that need making for the people that aren't going to respond and pay you. So the ones where they might be having a bit of difficulty and they need a conversation. Now, the cash flow side attached to that is really useful. So say you've spoken to John, John has said he's going to pay you on Monday, you can make that adjustment on the system, and then on Monday it will remind you, or maybe your credit controller, to just check in with John if that money hasn't come in, because he's broken the promise to you then. And it helps you prioritize a to-do list for chasing, but also it moves that amount that John was going to give you this week to Monday. So you can really see your cash flow as an accurate figure. So, you know, it's a great bit of software. We recommend it to our clients just because it just helps with the basics. And then I would look at improving the way purchases enter the system. So there's an app that works with Xero called Receipt Bank, and there's automatic data extraction. So you can send it a scanned copy or a PDF copy of an invoice straight from email. You get a little sort of bespoke address that might be, so if it was for our accounts department, it would be like A4G at Receipt Bank. It would go through, it would read all the information, and it publishes that in Xero and attaches a PDF copy of that invoice. So you're the managing director, you're sitting on a train, you know, back when we were allowed to go on trains and things, we're not scared to death. You can start flicking through some of these costs and see all the invoices. So if you're worried about a certain type of expense going up, you can just flick through and you've got all that there. And then you no longer have to have boxes of files everywhere. But also it can help with doing expense claims for employees, and just that consistent categorizing. You know, you've got, say, for example, our invoices, you can make sure they go to accountancy every single time and it's not at someone's discretion. So you just kind of speed up that process, and that's the stuff that you don't necessarily want to pay your accounts lady to do. You'd rather she was managing costs, working with Focus to save you money. So that's Receipt Bank. Now, Approval Max, that is a multi-level approval system. So, you know, for example, you can use it for your sales invoices or your purchase invoices, and it's where it gets drafted, but actually a few people need to see these things just to approve that it's correct before it goes onto the system. But it avoids having to, you know, pass germy bits of paper around the office, and particularly at the moment trying to get things across to people. It's just a much smoother process. So the invoice gets uploaded to Approval Max, and you set out the chain of who needs to approve that invoice. It just works really quickly off your phone. So my favourite bit about Xero is the reporting side, and the reason I love it, it does sound really sad when I say stuff like this, but you can track your projects and departments really, really easily. So I think quite often, you know, clients look at a set of accounts and they might say to me, that profit is not right. And you think, okay, why? And quite, you know, businesses have often a number of things going on, and it might be that one, you know, area or department has been doing really, really well and they're expecting profits to be significantly higher, but what they haven't realized is by switching all their attention to that area, the other department has started losing money, and they haven't factored that into their thought process because they're just focused on what's being done well. And this just helps track, sort of split down the profit and loss, and you can report on profit in multiple different ways. So you've got three-way reporting. So you can look at it as a whole, you can look at it as a salesperson, you can look at it as an activity type, you can look at it by area, you know, you can actually chop that data into a number of different sections, and you can have a number of different ways of reporting on it. So you don't have to pick and it be, oh, well, this is the only way I can split it down is by projects, but then I couldn't look at area. You can do both. And you can really customize the reports. So we set up quite a few reports for our clients, particularly one we called our pre-year-end report, and that helps clients assess like this January compared to last January. So you can really see a comparable month, just because of number of bank holidays, you know, days, working days in the month and everything, and it just gives you an idea of how things are going. So what are the common mistakes of finance? I would say one of the big things we see is obviously it just gets it's one of those jobs that everyone puts off, and then it becomes a much bigger job, and then actually they don't do it until it's that quarter or end of the year, and then it will be rushed and not all the expenses will be in there, and it certainly probably won't be categorized properly, and actually you've lost any value from that information really at that point. So as I said, not claiming anything. Errors in costing won't be picked up if you're not using your account system in an interactive way, and you're not setting budgets and holding yourself accountable or your staff accountable to the budgets. You know, and with that you can add in break even or whatever forecast you've had to be doing at the moment. So there are ways to include that in the system and track it to see how, you know, how good your estimations were and what needs to happen for the rest of the year if you're running behind the forecast you set for this year to recover. And as I say, cash is king. I think particularly at the moment, everyone knows that a credit control call might be a hard call, and it generally gets avoided, but the idea of all of this is to actually speed it up to have those more difficult conversations and just be able to reach an agreement that suits everyone. So at A4G, what we do for a lot of our clients, so we do quite a bit of Xero setups and training, but that's bespoke setups and bespoke training. So you can access generic training directly with Xero, but what we do is we get people to fill out this due diligence questionnaire, which really gets to the heart of what you're wanting to achieve with finance, so that we can set it up in the right way and we can train you in the right way for what's important for your business. We also have a little 5-minute cash flow tool that can be downloaded from our website, which just helps keep track of what you should have set aside for taxes and things at the moment, or rents or insurance, and where that's sitting. A lot of businesses sometimes trade in that with their working capital, but it just helps you see if the problem's getting bigger or whether you are saving for that tax eventually. We also do a lot of pre-year end tax and business planning. So we would meet most of our clients 6 to 8 weeks before the year end, and just talk to them about, you know, what we're expecting the financials to show, what implications that has for the business, what they might be looking to achieve in the next 12, 18, 24 months, and how we can support them with that and what might hold them back from achieving that. So that's always quite fun for us. And then we've got our breakthrough service, which is a much bigger service where we work with clients to really mentor them through getting all the right things in place and just driving the plan and the forecasts that the business owners set. So we kind of hold people a little bit more accountable. So there's lots of things we do to help support clients, because, you know, in our view, we want our clients to be successful. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time this morning. I think we're going to open up to question and answers now. Hopefully you've all had time to pop some questions in the chat. So guys, I think if you can all put your cameras and mics back on, I'll be firing questions out to some of us. Okay, all right, so actually someone's asked, how easy is it to switch suppliers?
So if we're talking energy, very, very easy. We do all of the work for you. We literally need one letter of authority, which just allows us to action that, and then everything else is done. So there's nothing that you would need to do as a client to change supplier apart from work with us.
And if you're talking telecoms, it's exactly the same as Ben said.
So actually, Fred, I've got a question here.
We don't need a letter of authority.
Oh, fantastic. So I've actually got a question here that says, I'm with BT in a fixed contract, but they've actually put my price up. Am I able to get out of that contract?
A very good question, Emma, and thank you for the person to ask it. At the moment, BT are putting their prices up on their lines, their calls, and their broadband service from the 1st of April this year. What that actually means is anyone that is with BT has a 30-day window where if they're in contract, they can get out of the contract without any penalties. So if you're with BT, I suggest you just have a little look what you're paying, and I'm 100% sure we will be able to save you money.
Fantastic, that's interesting. Yeah, so just pay attention to those direct debits going out shortly and any communication from BT. Okay, fantastic. Yes. There's also another question about, do I need to download anything to change my Office 365 license?
No, absolutely not. So it is just purely a billing platform change. We can do this two ways, actually. You can accept us as a supplier and we call it the magic link, but essentially we would talk you through and send you a link, and you can say, yes, we would like the focus group to take over our billing, or we can actually do it manually if you do feel more at home not clicking links. But obviously all of this process we we're happy to talk you through and to handhold you, but it's instantaneous. And the idea of this is it's a really easy for you to switch and save without having to do anything.
Fantastic, thanks, Emma. And actually there's one for me here that says, why would I pick Xero over anything else? I mean, hopefully if you're all listening, I've probably demonstrated why. I mean, a lot of other cloud accounting systems do have the ability to link in with some apps, but definitely not all of it, and it's not always free of charge, the link between a cloud accounting software and an app, whereas with Xero, yes, it's another subscription for the app, but you're not paying kind of a link fee in the middle, which I think is quite significant. And also the quality of the accounts package with Xero is higher than some of the other cloud accounting offerings. So there's some of the big providers where their cloud accounting offering is much more basic, whereas Xero is much more equivalent to some of the better desktop accounting packages. So, but we're always happy to do demos for people and stuff if that's, you know, useful, because it is a big decision, changing finance, and we always try to look at whether there's efficiencies to be saved, and a real advantage to doing it. So that was all that's in the question and answer. I don't know if we've got any other questions popping up. Has anyone left on the webinar got any more questions they'd like to raise with us? Okay, well, I think there doesn't seem to be any further questions, so we'll just wrap up there and say that actually both myself and the guys from Focus, they are more than happy to take kind of direct questions after the webinar, and there's quite a lot of free resources, you know, sort of free offerings there between the two businesses. And for any of you looking for a budget update, ours went live last night on our website, so you can check that out at www.a4gllp.co.uk. So, all right, well, have a really good Thursday, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Emma, Ben, Fred.
Everyone, thanks, Emma. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Cheerio.